Today, most Western countries don't like Trump's America First policy. Sure, some right-wing groups and businesses support it, but for most, America First feels more like America alone. And why do they feel this way? Just look at his stance. Slapping tariffs on key allies like the EU and Canada, threatening to annex regions like Greenland, the Panama Canal, and Gaza, and making provocative statements like suggesting Canada should become the 51st U.S. state. So they see it as aggressive trade policies, unpredictable foreign moves, and a shift away from old alliances. For 80 years, America treated Europe like a child, always there to help, always ready to support, ensuring security, even at its own expense. From the Marshall Plan to NATO funding, from military bases to economic aid, the US has spent billions keeping Europe afloat. And let's be real, Europe was more of a financial burden than an asset. America kept footing the bill and Europe kept taking. But then Trump came in and said, "Enough is enough. I'm done playing charity. Time to think about my own country and my own people. No more handing out freebies." That was the story with Western countries. But now, let's take a look at how other major players like India, China, and Russia reacted to Trump's America First policy. Take China and Russia. While the US and Europe got caught up in debates over Trump's policies, China and Russia weren't just watching, they were winning. So, what did China do about Trump's trade war, sanctions on its tech firms, and all those tariffs? Not much, at least not in the way you'd expect. Instead of backing down, Beijing hit back. They suspended import licenses, launched investigations into US products, and tightened their grip on global supply chains. And while all that's happening, China's making some bold moves in the Indo-Pacific, sending warships near Australia, flexing on Taiwan, and even keeping an eye on Japan and Vietnam. And let's not forget, they're ramping up their military buildup too. As of 2025, China raised its defense budget by 7.2%, hitting $249 billion. And then there's Russia. If America First was a wake-up call for Europe for Moscow, it was a golden opportunity. Trump's skepticism of NATO and trade fights with Europe created cracks in the Western alliance, cracks that Russia is more than happy to exploit. An isolationist America means more room for Russia to assert itself in Ukraine, the Middle East, and Africa, without worrying about a united front against it. Now, about India. A developing nation that has spent years building its economy, now with a population larger than China's, it has no choice but to put its own people first. So, India did what was necessary. It bought cheap Russian oil to keep its economy running and took every step needed to secure its interests. And how did the West react? They complained. Some even talked about sanctions as if only they had the right to protect their own interests. Germany, in particular, tried to pressure India by getting closer to Pakistan and making statements about Kashmir, which led to diplomatic tensions. So here we are in early 2025, and Trump just dropped a fresh round of tariffs on countries that slap higher duties on US goods, including India. And here's the impact. Key industries like chemicals, metals, auto parts, and pharmaceuticals are now at risk, with potential losses reaching up to $7 billion a year. Now, for a developing country like India, protecting local industries isn't just policy, it's survival. But Trump's making one thing clear: play by his rules or pay the price. India is now weighing its options. Should it tweak tariffs to keep the peace with Washington or hold its ground? It's played this game before, adjusting policies to ease trade tensions. But this time, the stakes are higher. And let's be honest, Trump isn't the kind to back down. The pressure's on, and India has to decide: bend or push back. So, where does Prime Minister Modi stand on Trump's leadership? Does he see him as a challenge or a strategic partner? His recent conversation with Lex Fridman revealed something unexpected: a perspective on Trump that you probably haven't heard before. Whether you love Trump or hate him, Modi's take is going to make you think. When Modi was asked about Trump, both as a friend and a leader, he brought up the Howdy Modi event in Houston. The stadium was packed, an incredible sight, he said. But what really stood out? Trump. Most leaders stay in their security bubble, separate from the crowd. But Trump? He sat with the audience, listening like everyone else. That humility stood out, Modi said. And then came the unexpected. Modi suggested something unusual, taking a lap around the stadium and waving to the crowd. Now, Trump, a man constantly surrounded by Secret Service, could have easily said no. But instead, he just went for it. No hesitation. That's a rare kind of confidence. Modi clearly respected Trump's instinct to connect with people directly, his confidence, and his willingness to ignore typical security constraints, just the way he does it himself. Modi also pointed out that even after Trump's term ended, whenever mutual acquaintances met him, he would always say, "Modi is my friend. Give him my regards." That kind of consistency and loyalty is rare. Think about it. Trump, even out of office, still made sure his friends knew he hadn't forgotten them. That says a lot. When the interviewer said, "Trump recently called you a tougher and better negotiator than him," what do you think about that? Modi smiled and replied, "That's just Trump being gracious. He's always generous with his words, and I appreciate that. But when it comes to negotiations, my approach is simple. I put India first. Every time I sit at the table, I speak for my country, not to undermine anyone, but to protect our interests. And people respect that. At the end of the day, my loyalty is to the people of India. They've entrusted me with this responsibility, and for me, my nation is my high command." Modi's statement highlights mutual respect between strong leaders who prioritize national interests over personal rapport. It portrays Trump's America First approach and Modi's similar stance for India, emphasizing their shared commitment to tough negotiations. Modi said he observed Trump in his first term and now in his second run. This time, he is more prepared. He has a clear roadmap. His team is strong, and they are fully capable of implementing his vision. Modi's statement suggests that Trump has evolved from his first term, becoming more strategic and organized for his second run. It implies that Modi sees Trump as a more experienced and capable leader this time around.